Hello and good evening. Again, welcome to Skynet. My name is Abubakar Mohammed, and we always have news. So I think we put our schedule here the other day regarding what we do and how we do. So we have Monday through Wednesday news, then Thursday we have some other programming activities. So to like yesterday we had family activity, today we have mental health, and it's Friday. So as you guys are aware, every Friday you expect us to provide that news and leash and other stuff. So today we are going to focus more on stress, how to manage and cope with stress. As you guys remember, last week we talked more about the five protectors in the family. So we have seen a lot of comments. We have also seen a lot of suggestions. So many people want us to talk more about stress and how to manage and how to cope with it. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and dive into our topic today. And before I get started, we have some objectives for these topics today. And the first one, I think we have the first objective is using our mind, body, and spirit for less stress to feel it right. By the end of this topic, that's something I need everyone to feel like. Also, using the proper mental gears to meet our challenges. That will be our second objective. The third objective will be understanding the road conditions on our life journey. So we're taking a journey. For example, take an example of a car because if you don't have a gear, there's no way that car moves. With the gear, also you need a fuel plus also the mile, let me say the road and also the map. So going to number four, also number four objectives using the right fuel to move more inspirational in meeting our challenges. Also, the fifth one is we are going to pilot ourselves in the spiritual plane. The sixth one is following the map to our more joyful life, meaning if you try to just not only manage but also cope and also decrease stress, then you'll find a better way to live your life very joyful. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and just go dive into our topic today. So when it comes to stress, stress has a lot of different definitions. World Health Organization has their own meaning. At the same time, clinicians with a mental health or psychiatric doctor they have their own definitions, but they're still going just side by side at the same time. So stress can be defined as a state of worry or mental tension caused by difficult situations. Stress is a natural human response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our life. So that's one definition from World Health Organization. And also clinicians, the way they define and also those psychiatric doctors, they have their own meaning where they're explaining stress as a feeling of emotional or physical tensions. So the two of them are still now combining. It can come from any event or thoughts that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. Stress is our body's reaction to challenge or demand. So that means whenever something happens, then our body is trying to respond that, for example, fear. Because as human being, if we don't have that feeling of fear, happy, sadness, then I can say you're not human because that's those are feeling we have. So with that, let me just to go deep into our topic today. As you can see on the screen, we have the first one. We have seven different ways we can overcome those kind of stress. So the first one on the screen it says feeling our wells. So when I'm saying feeling our wells, that it doesn't mean filling our wells of water. It's filling our own way. I mean, for example, we are doing a lot of work throughout the day. At the same time, whether you're working or you have children at home, so you do a lot of stuff in between day and night. So what we're saying here is that you need to recharge because you have done a lot of stressing things throughout the day. Then how can you recalibrate or how can you go back to normal during the night then getting ready for the next day? That's what I mean when saying feeling our wells. So we have seven types of self-care activities for coping with stress. So these are some examples. One, when you feel a calm mind, you can focus on sensation around you, sights, sounds, smells, taste, or touch. This will help you focus the best moment, so take a break from your worries. The other thing also just going outside of your house. If you are in the house, sometimes you start feeling stress and anxiety, just to go out and get some fresh air. You never know, but it might help you. So the other thing was snuggle under cozy blanket, listen to running water, sit outdoors by fire pit, take a hot water or warm bath, get a massage if you can afford it, because massage has shown to be very effective on stress. Cuddle with a pet if you have a cat, or sometimes dog. Sometimes if you cuddle with them, then yes, it might help you. So burn a scented candle, stare at the sky, listen to music, or sometimes watch those shows that makes you laugh. So all of these are some examples that we are giving away, so that can be very helpful and also very effective and productive. So try one of these. So moving into number two, we have also pleasure. So the reason why I bring up the pleasure is because number one, we need to understand, also we need to know that pleasure is always experience that feels you good, sometimes feels you enjoyment, something that makes you enjoy. I mean, for example, eating. Some people, they eat as a pleasure. So here we take some examples, like taking yourself to eat. For example, a week ago you might have seen very good food somewhere in a restaurant, or sometimes you have heard a friend saying there's a good food in that restaurant. Just go out and try. That's a pleasure. Also, watch a movie, as I mentioned before. Just watch movie that makes you excited, that can ignite your passion. Gardening. If you have smaller garden in your house, go out and do some planting, or sometimes just do some cultivations that might, or do some planting seeds, or anything that can also you feel touch and makes you happy. Sometimes just get out of your house, and if you have a cat or sometimes a dog, just take them out for a walk. That might be also very helpful, and also has been shown to be very effective tool to manage and fight with stress. Also, writing and reading. Sometimes if you're writing, it's good. If you know, if you're the kind of person who reads loud, then go ahead and do it. Also, do a craft project. Sometimes make an art, drawing pictures. Some people, they say they found very productive for them to manage and cope with their stress. So mentioning all of these, that means there's some, they are very helpful. Meaning keep track. So we are moving to number three, which is also mastery. So mystery meaning just giving yourself a boost by doing a task that you have been avoiding, or challenging your brain in a novel way. So clean out a junk drawer or closet. Take action or some task you have been avoiding. For example, if you don't like doing, let me say, take an example of doing laundry. Just try doing laundry. Sometimes just, if you never wanted to go out, let me say, go to the park. Just try to go to the park. See what happens. Also, drive to a new place. Immerse yourself in a crossword puzzle. Sometimes doing puzzles always very helpful. I love doing that, especially when flying. It helps me to get where I want sooner than just later. So read something on a topic you wouldn't normally read. For example, if you don't like reading misery books, just get one and try doing it and see what happens. So you never know, but it's going to be very helpful for your stress, and you might become very familiar and manage it. Also, the other one we need to move here is spiritual. So we need to be very careful in this area when I'm saying spiritual. So a spiritual connection can be faster, a calm mind. Activities that people define as spiritual are vary from person to person, culture to culture, maybe country to country. Some people, they might practice the spiritual, others they might not. Some they might do different ways. So, for examples, I have some few here which are just attend church or mosque, sometimes read the Bible or sometimes read the Quran. At the same time, read poetry or inspirational quotes, light a candle, meditate, pray, list five things you are grateful for. For example, your anniversary sometimes, also your date of birth. So anything that any event that happened before. So if you can just document that during your stress, then that might be something you might look back and say, hey, when I was feeling stressed, I was doing this and that. So you can not only remember the date and time, but also what you have done or what you wrote. Spend time in the nature, meaning just get out of your bubble, go to somewhere outside, maybe in the mountain, sometime in the forest, where you can just say, oh, a nature. I mean, if you have close by river, as we have here, we have river and mountains around us, and also parks. There's a lot of flowers. Just go outside and smell all of that, and also the scent. Plus, not only the scent, but also touching and seeing them might make you a little bit more calm and also blessing. So those are some other things that you might do in when it comes to spiritual. So moving to number five, we have also emotional. Dealing with our emotion can be challenging when coping with stress. That's true. So we tend to label emotion as good or bad, but this isn't helpful. Instead, we need to accept our feeling. They are okay to accept and say, yes, I'm feeling good or I'm feeling bad. It's okay to describe all of this because that's how you can get relief. But if you're just denying, then that won't help you at all. The other thing also, we need to just write your feeling down. Cry when you need to. Some cultures is they say crying is shameful, but at the same time in America here, people cry in order for them to get relief because most of the time crying sometimes be very helpful. So just cry if you can. If you don't want it, then that's fine. Don't do it. Laugh when you can. So laughing also something you need to do, not all the time, but yes, if you have friends out there who can make you laugh, if you have family, maybe if there's any TV show that makes you laugh as much as you can because happiness is all about it. Also practice self-compassion. This is where you can just self-appreciate. Also show your compassion for others. At the same time, seek the kind of acceptance that you want to feel. So moving to number six, we have physical also. Coping is by engaging the body in great because you can bypass a lot of unhelpful mental chatter. It is hard to feel stress when you are doing one of these self-care activities. One, try yoga, do some exercise, go for a walk, stretch, lift weight, go for a bike ride, take a nap. Don't skip a sleep to get things done. So the last one is very important because a lot of people they always say, "Oh, I don't sleep. I only sleep 2 hours. I only sleep 4 hours." So as an adult, we are supposed to sleep between 6 to 8 hours. That's what the recommendation is. But at least if you have four to six, then you can still do great. So without sleep, many people get a lot of injuries, obesity, as well as blood pressure. So try to get as much sleep as you can because this is your life and it's part of your self care. So don't just risk yourself because you will not stay the way you are right now if you don't sleep very well. Someday you might become crazy because if your brain is always on and on and on without shutting down, then it's gonna drive you somewhere unsafe environment. So be careful. Last but not the least, number seven is social. So this is also a very important one. So when it comes to social, that means where everything comes down. Connecting with others is an important part of self-care. Is that's because if you don't connect other people, then you become lonely or isolated. Isolation, which you don't want to be. So remember that others go through similar experiences and difficulties as you do. So always remember you're not alone. So if you're experiencing difficulties and going through a lot of stuff, a lot of grief, remember other people are doing the same, but the way you guys manage and also cope is always different. So know that. Go on a lunch date with a good friend or family members. Sometimes just get out, have some date. If you have friend, a family, or brother, sister, just get out of the house and get that date out there. So participate in book club. If there's library everywhere, if you have library in your city or maybe small town, just go to the library and join a book club where they do reading once or sometimes two times a week or sometimes once a month. So that way you can be socializing other people at the same time you make friends there. Join a support group. Yes, if you're struggling, then sometimes always seek help. There's a lot of support groups out there. So sometimes, yes, some of them they might have some insurance, but don't worry, just seek out for help. Help's always out there. Volunteer to help others. If you help other people probably while you're struggling, that's not wasted time. It's always time gained for experience because you might have come across many people who are struggling the same and doing the same thing. So always then try to be that kind of person who volunteers in their community, in their local government. Let me say, sometimes local NGO or nonprofit organization. So that might pay you back in the future as not only making friends at the same time, you're making a lot of connections in that community. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm gonna conclude today here because we have to have some other stuff to cover next week, next Friday, as usual. Because as I already mentioned, follow our schedule here at the Skynet. So we have different things to cover. Like tomorrow we have leisure coming, so get ready for that. And again, without spending a lot of time here and doing a lot of other stuff, good night, guys. Happy Friday night.